Because I don't think Crawford's going to put him away, and I think Canelo's a much better mover than people give him credit for, and I think Crawford will be hit more and hit harder than he's ever been hit before, but I don't think he'll go out or down.
Consistent with Terence Crawford's fight schedule over the last several years, where he's been pretty much fighting one time a year. That one time a year is clearly giving him a lot of time to rest and recover from his injuries.
Analysts are pointing out a significant weakness in Terence Crawford's newest training clips. Gareth revealed that while he originally leaned toward Crawford defeating Canelo Alvarez, his outlook has now flipped. With fight night approaching, he favors Canelo, believing Crawford will encounter punches unlike anything he has taken before. This shift reflects the mounting doubts about Crawford's ability to absorb Canelo.
Early on, very close rounds in the first 3 or 4. We'll be divided on who's winning. I think Canelo will get going in the second third of the fight and land some big shots. I think Crawford will look good as well. Rounds 6 to 9. We'll be looking at who's getting ascendancy in the fight. Crawford will have weathered the storm of the big Canelo punches, countered himself, still close rounds. I think Canelo will push away and in my view will win the fight, because I don't think Crawford's going to put him away, and I think Canelo's a much better mover than people give him credit for, and I think Crawford will be hit more and hit harder than he's ever been hit before, but I don't think he'll go out or down, and if he does go down, he'll get up. I think it'll be a very, very close affair, and I think even if in those last 6 rounds Crawford's got Canelo's number in terms of movement and timing, I still think if it's very close in rounds, I think it'll either be a draw or a narrow points decision for Saul Canelo Alvarez that everybody feels is very controversial, and then they'll do it again. That's how I see it playing, and that's the plot, if you like, with the subplots in the drama of one of the biggest fights we've seen in Vegas.
Gennady Golovkin's coach has voiced a bold forecast that Terence Crawford may not be able to sustain his conditioning at the higher division. He suggests that Crawford could begin showing fatigue as early as round 4. The main reason is the drastic shift in body structure and added muscle, which may slow his movement. Since Crawford has never competed at this weight class before, the coach insists the adjustment is massive. Extra pounds can make even world-class fighters sluggish, drain stamina rapidly, and spark early frustration. If Crawford...
Triple G's former trainer said that Crawford's gonna be quick in the first 4 rounds, but once Canelo figures him out and actually starts hitting Terence Crawford, in which Sanchez described as, quote, like a huge truck hitting him, it'll be game over for Terence Crawford. He explained that Crawford may not have the legs for someone like Canelo in the 168-pound division. Sanchez also added that if Canelo was eventually going to be Crawford's endgame, then Crawford should have jumped weight divisions a while back. Now, Crawford could have technically done that after the Spence fight. However, his once-a-year fight schedule prevented that from happening.
Rumors are spreading that Terence Crawford might have suffered a shoulder setback during his preparation for the clash with Canelo Alvarez. Though nothing has been confirmed, the speculation alone has raised alarms among pundits and fans. This is concerning because Crawford's career has typically been paced carefully with only 1 or 2 bouts each year. That schedule gave him ample time to heal, rebuild, and enter fully primed. The faster turnaround this time removes that cushion, leaving any nagging issue a potential factor on fight night. Shoulder trouble is never minor in boxing. Virtually every part of a fighter's craft, from snapping accurate punches to blocking shots and controlling range, relies heavily on shoulder strength. Even a slight strain could dull Crawford's hand speed and reduce the force behind his shots, making it tougher to gain Canelo's respect. Mentally, such pain could also cause hesitation, preventing him from committing fully in exchanges. Against an experienced, heavy-hitting rival like Canelo, even brief hesitation could be costly. Should the injury prove real, Crawford faces a steep climb.
solitary training camp and in every single solitary fight, a guy that is as old as Terence Crawford, 37, 38 years old, is going to have some type of injuries. They're going to have some type of old nagging type of stuff, especially a guy that works as ridiculously hard as Terence Crawford does. That was just a matter of time before wear and tear is going to start going and things are going to start popping off and going wrong, right? Also, you can tell that the reason that this is kind of consistent with Terence Crawford's fight schedule over the last several years, where he's been pretty much fighting one time a year. That one time a year is clearly giving him a lot of time to rest and recover from his injuries and gives his body time to heal up. And as a result, okay, he's ready to go during fight time. So I wouldn't put too much on this. I would say though that if you're a gambling person, man, you should probably want to keep your money in your pocket for this particular fight, man, because this thing can absolutely positively go either way with between the two of these guys. Canelo Alvarez is an exceptional fighter, much bigger than Terence Crawford is, or been fighting at a much bigger weight class than Terence Crawford has been fighting at, and much more experienced at that level at 168 pounds. But Terence Crawford is just such a superb fighter and such an intelligent fighter in there that you can know that he's going to be coming there to fight, and he's got a significant chance to win that fight. Unless, of course, that injury is real. I mean, and it is significant and is preventing him from, really sitting down on his punches, because he's going to have to at a point in time with Canelo Alvarez is going to have to do something to get him up off of him.
Keith Thurman has added his own measured take on the looming battle. He noted that Canelo Alvarez, despite carrying losses, remains an extremely dangerous foe. Thurman stressed that while every boxer has flaws, it does not mean they are easy to exploit. He emphasized that Canelo's background, technical mastery, and toughness make him a competitor who should never be overlooked. Defeats in boxing don't always tarnish a career. In Canelo's case, they have only molded him into a more complete fighter. Thurman concluded that labeling Canelo as beatable does not automatically guarantee Crawford's victory, because Crawford will need to rise to
an unbeatable fighter. That's fine. None of us are really unbeatable, right? But people got to understand this. Canelo Alvarez is not an unbeatable fighter. The question is, whoever he's fighting, we don't question what Canelo's going to do, right? We question what his opponents are going to do, right? It's not even really about Canelo. Canelo's going to show up as Canelo Alvarez, right? Ginger boy. So the question is, are you going to beat him? And are you going to beat him today? Like when fight night happens, is it you and is it now? You ready to beat him now? He's not unbeatable. Maybe you can beat him, but are you going to do it? And are you going to do it now? You feel me? Because I thought Danny Jacobs was going to have a way better performance.
Danny actually performed well against Canelo, but he didn't take any chances. He was doing just enough to not get beaten.
And Canelo was feeling himself. Canelo had preparation. He had that head movement, losing to Floyd, this and that. He fought some flat-footed fighters. He got used to getting his head here and there and ducking down and then pulling out and spinning out and little tactics. I've never seen somebody make Danny Jacobs miss so many punches. It was highly impressive. I did not expect that, because of the amateur pedigree growing up with Danny Jacobs. I know exactly what kind of New York fighter he is.
Clips from the recent stare-down between Crawford and Canelo have drawn huge buzz. To the surprise of many, Crawford appeared noticeably bigger than anticipated, nearly matching Canelo's frame. This stood out since Canelo has long been recognized for his compact power and solid build in higher divisions. The image of Crawford's added size has sparked debate over how well he has put on the extra mass. Some view it as proof he has successfully bulked up, while others argue that bulk alone does not guarantee strength or stamina. The real question is whether he can carry the added weight naturally in the ring without losing speed.
With that said, they're going to face off in an epic showdown. And the big talk, obviously, is the size difference, right? That Canelo Alvarez is much bigger than the smaller Terence Bud Crawford, who is essentially coming up from 147 in the minds of many. But really and truly, he's coming up from 154 because he actually had a fight at 154, a title opportunity, his only fight at 154 last August when he took on Israel Madrimov, okay? And he beat Israel Madrimov, unanimous decision, to become a 4-division champion. But as you see here in this photo, there's not a big size difference. And actually, obviously, we know Terence Crawford stands at 5'8", got a 74-inch arm reach. Canelo stands at 5'7" with a 70-inch arm reach. There's not a massive size difference at all whatsoever. Now, clearly, as you see, Terence Crawford clearly has on what looks like Balenciaga shoes, and we know they are extremely big shoes and it make you slightly taller. And Canelo Alvarez has on flats. The thing here is, the more important thing is not if Terence Crawford can take Canelo Alvarez's punches. It's not if Terence Crawford, is going to get bullied around the ring. The concern with the weight is how Terence Crawford carries it himself. Does he start to fatigue in the second half of the fight? Should he get to the second half of the fight?
Former champion and respected analyst Timothy Bradley Jr. has laid out a direct blueprint for Crawford's best chance at victory. Bradley insists Crawford must set the tone right away. He explained that Canelo is a fighter who grows stronger as the fight stretches on, gradually finding rhythm and command. That makes a drawn-out battle especially risky for Crawford. Bradley emphasized that Crawford has the quickness, precision, and fight IQ to break Canelo's rhythm early if he takes the initiative. By pressing the action and refusing to let Canelo dictate tempo, Crawford could catch the Mexican star off guard. Bradley warned, however, that the added size Crawford is carrying could sap energy late, so saving gas for the later rounds is not realistic. Instead, he urged Crawford to trust his speed and reflexes, using his explosiveness to try and end matters before fatigue takes over.
Yeah, he can move a little bit, but yeah, he likes to come forward with that power. But you put him on his back foot, let me tell you similar to. You know this guy named Usyk who put Fury on his back foot? Yeah, push the pace on him. Yeah, with volume, feints. Put Canelo on his back foot, Crawford. That's what you gotta do. You gotta put him on his back foot. Hell to the damn yeah. That's how you get it done, man. That's one aspect that you're gonna have to do. And hey, I would advise you to do it as early as damn possible. Do it as early as possible, because guess what? If you do that, you're gonna get control right away of the judges, right? They're gonna be looking at you. You're gonna dictate the pace. You're gonna dictate the flow of the fight. You gotta have him react to you, not you reacting to him. That's how you gain control of the fight real quick, real soon. Get active with that jab. You don't necessarily have to come out in the southpaw stance. You can come out in the orthodox stance. You know, what's the punch that always hits Canelo all the time? Easy work, the jab. Triple G was able to land his jab over and over. Floyd Mayweather was able to land his jab over and over. Bivol was able to land his jab over and over. You control him, you push him back, you walk forward. Anytime Canelo give you an inch going back, you take that inch going forward. That's how you gonna get this done. You're gonna have to be brave, my man, Crawford. You're gonna have to be brave. You're gonna have to be on your P's and Q's when you're walking forward as well, because he will snap back. He will snap back with them left hooks, right hands to the body, or looping right hands over the top, or even straight right hands. Sometimes he might even come with a two-piece combination. But you got to put him on his back foot as often as possible, man. With your how cerebral you are, with your feints, with your movement, snapping that jab.
That wraps up today's breakdown. Stay tuned for more updates as the countdown to fight night continues. Until next time.